Yeah. Okay. Meow. Meow, meow, meow. Holy moly. Okay. Let's do music. 34. Pact. 35. Cinematic. That'll do. Right. Alright. To advanced. Enable voice. Absolutely not. Alright. So what do we got? 120. I might actually drop that to 75. Let's see how we go on that. Quality we've been playing with. Let's do performance, because that's what it is. Alright, volumetric, local. Okay. Drop that off. I want to do medium, medium. Motion blur. No. Distortions. I have no idea what that means. Glare. Maybe. Film grain. Don't know what that means. Bloom. Let's bump that to 60. Color correction. Drop that off. Contact shadows. Have no idea what that means. Okay. Keep that. Sun shadows. Maybe. Have no idea what that means. So we'll play with these. We like testing settings. Alright. 3-star Flappy Bird run. Let's go do that. Thrice bound or spider share. Ooh. Net ray. I'd be happy to do that run. And info when that's Spider-Man. Which is right there. Ah. Connections hiccuped. Oh dear. Okay. Hey bud. Wait for me. I'm gonna capture you. 312. Okie dokie. Monty. There you go. Alright, so what do we do? Response spider share. Talk. Yeah. At least I know where that guy's gonna be. Oh, you wanna run yours? You know, do you want to run yours first? Yeah, we can do that. Okay. Poor network connection. Not a surprise. That's okay. Meow, 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 meow. Alright. I'm gonna do a spider run. We love that. Hopefully, post connect is not too racy. Oh, excuse me. Oof, that's a bit rough. Alright, where are we at? Oh, there. Okay. Hello. Huh, okay, cool. Alright, Spider-Man time. Okay, graphics seem to be pretty good and stable with post-migratory gameplay, which is nice. Not really sure about drops though, that's the only thing. Alright, we'll go see Mama Spider. Can I have your soul, please? Maybe not. Okay. Wait. Oh, they're part of the Kith of Kings. Makes sense. Meow. Doggo's going for a run. Okay. Meow meow. Meow 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 meow. Alright. Where you at? Where's Spider-Man? Where'd you go? Oh, he's taking these dudes on. Righto. Hey, little bird. Okay, cool. We'll take on Spider-Man. Okay, so the slow on enemies on the orbiting blades is great. And good amount of stagger out too, which is awesome. There we go. With tan blade. We do love that. Cool. Will we get the room? I kind of hope so. Alright, I'm gonna go do Impedy, I think. Impedy doodah, Impedy a. My oh my, what a wonderful day. Hey little bud. Okay. So there's the banner out, that guy, and Impedy. So, do we need that to happen or not? Hey, hey, hey. That's a bit rude. There we go. Cool. Alright. So, you want the Impedy bots next. I hope. Which is this guy. Or do you want all bosses? We can do whichever ones you need. Yes. Thrice bound. Impedy. And I'm going the completely wrong way. Okay. What mark is this? Is that yours or mine? Invite for your spider. Chasing the what we're doing. Got the Brightness armor as well. Combined, which are okay. Oh, I hope this disconnection is not that rough. We'll see. Okay. Promise. I have all. Okay. Excuse me. That's very rude. Get out of here. Little salad. There we go. Oh, what? What? I don't think that you can multi-farm bosses that way anymore. Seems like the boss farms have been changed. No longer farm bosses in other instance. Bosses done. Alright, right. Ah, cheeky. Okay. Right. Nice. Okay. Dippity doo dah. Ah, so you can choose the boss effect thing. That's cool. Okay. Cool. Very cool. Okay. Come on, lady. Alright, there you go. And we got the veg. Cool. Alright. That's Eldred. So, I'm assuming we'll go to Thrice-Bound Impedy. Just this guy. Thrice-Bound. Cool. I did not know that you could do that. But excellent, all the same. Sweet, okay. Oh. Very nice. Do 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 do. Meow. Meow, 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 meow. Come on, buddy. You can do it. Oh, there we go. Awesome. Oh. Blessed by Iridus. Ooh. Gildor. Okay. Nice. Mockery Vines. Mockery Vines. Okay. What else do you need? What are we gonna do? Need the legs. Alright. Okay. Cool.
I know. More wasted coal.
Alright. Do reforging in a little bit. Let's see how we go with this. Ooh. More ping. We love that. Okay. Oof. Okay. It's always a little bit rough. Come on, bud. Come on. Awesome. Alright. We got the helm instead. I love it. But we got the Blessed by Sapphine. So he drops a lot of Gildor, which is good. Okay. Alright. That's the helm. Okie dokie. Well, hope you enjoyed that one. I can let you. Come on. I think that is pretty done. So you need the legs. Alright. Bang. Recommend changing option to sunrise. Better RNG drops and less generates. What do you do? Sharpener. I hate most aggression. That is rough. Always rough. Alright. There we go. Trucy, how are you? That scared the crap out of me. Oh my god, so much hot dog. How's your stream, dude? I meant to jump back in, but I'm doing a bit of a code giveaway for Soulframe, so I'm just trying to kind of figure out a few things. More so for this afternoon. But how are you? You cheeky bastard. How's the Jewel stream? I loved it, by the way. I love how fan-freaking-tastic you are. Soulframe? It's been really good. Have you played any of the Preludes update? Stream is long and fun. You've got way more patience than I do. I generally do, like, roughly about a 2-hour stream. And then I'll piss off. Yeah. Oh, sure. Yeah, if you'd like to. Hang on, I'll pull the details and I'll chuck them in chat for you as well. I'm doing a code stream this afternoon, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. AEST time. So that should pretty much be everyone's wake-up time. And that will be for this afternoon. So pretty much be everyone else's tomorrow, essentially. Let me just pull that for you now. There we go. I'll chuck that to you in the Discord as well. Do you want me to just DM you that? Oh, you haven't played the update? Dude, get into it, if you feel like it. I would highly recommend it, though. So hang on. Let me just pop that your way. I'll just DM you. What are you guys up to now? Drizzy. I was just helping someone do a boss run, and they're not getting very good drops, unfortunately. But overall, it's actually been pretty cool. Do food. Food gives you life. Honestly, I haven't not eaten anything but my sadness and a coffee this morning. I lie. I'm not sad. I do go to a local cafe, and they're really, really good people as well. So, holy crap. Everyone's showing up today. Jewel Raid, what the hell? Gaming Live, hello. How are you? I don't think we've ever met before. I am SmoothOpurrator, and Drizzy is an absolute legend of a human as well. So he's just raided me, and now you are as well. So thank you very much for the Jewel Raid. Holy crap. How are you guys doing? What game were you guys playing, Gaming Life? Were you guys doing Soulframe as well, or? I feel like I just got into the best three-way that I've had all morning. So Drizzy, you definitely best three-way I've had in a while. Checking out some Soulframe. I need food. Go do food, Drizzy. Honestly, you need it. But for all of you who don't know who I am, SmoothOpurrator. I'm an Australian streamer. I predominantly do Warframe and Soulframe. Mostly Soulframe. I've been part of it since Preludes 8, and now it's Preludes 11. And I'm loving it. So if you like a little bit of mixture of like adventure, combat, creating your own combat styles, bit of magic, a bit of not super smooth host migration, it's a fantastic game though. It's been a very, very cool experience so far. So I'm very, very pleased to be part of Soulframe. Just finishing Soulframe? Hell yeah. Wow, you did 6 hours? Nice. I'm getting up there with the stream times. I think I did a 4-hour of Soulframe a couple of days ago, Gaming Life. But really enjoying the Preludes as well. Have you been part of Soulframe since it started, or where did you start your Soulframe journey? I've got to give Tubalkane a bit of a hug.
How can I do better?
Jay, can I have a Soulframe key? Only because watching the stream. You can, but not this stream. I am actually about to go put a PSA up about it, so for the code stream that I'll be doing will be this afternoon, my time, at around 5 p.m. I'm not too sure what time zone that will be for you guys. But for the most part, most of the channel viewers and chat that hang out with me when I do Soulframe streams, generally the 5 p.m. my time works better. So I'll be running a code stream this afternoon from 5 p.m. But then also next week, there's going to be a directory-wide drop enablement on Twitch to be able to get your own code by watching any stream of anyone streaming Soulframe. So I do have a few other codes, but I'm going to save the other two that I have for later dates when there's still people looking for codes if they weren't aware of the directory drops. I believe there's two, the 15th and then I think the Saturday following. So the 15th and 22nd of November, I'm pretty sure on those ones. So thank you. That's the best way to get your codes at the moment. So yeah, I will be running the 5 p.m. one today. I'm doing it in a very like strange way. I've got a few mods who can just come in. So I just basically get everyone to just put a number in that they like. And then we basically pull a random number out of the hat. And if that corresponds with you, then you are the winner. Yeah, no worries. So that's what we'll be doing this afternoon for Soulframe. That's when the code giveaway stuff is going on. So for the most part, this stream is basically leveling up weapons. If you guys have got any questions on Soulframe, anything like combat, packs, capturing animals, why you would capture an animal, there's lots of different elements that have been added into this prelude. So I thought I'd just jump in this morning, have a bit of a playthrough. So if you're keen to learn some stuff, I'm more than happy to help. Definitely enjoy this game. It's a little bit more of a slower pace for some people, but personally, I actually really enjoy it. So I am going to go through and snooze those little addy ads as well. So we can snooze that for 5. They're not ideal. I don't think anyone really enjoys advertising. If you do want to minimize those, you can sign yourself up with Amazon Prime. Pretty confident that's free to do that, and that will minimize the amount of ads that come through for you. So for the most part, basically, yeah, just hanging around Soulframe. And this Preludes has been really, really nice as well. So if any of you guys have played, say, Warframe as well, there have been a lot of extra updates, I think, that have come through since last week, I'm pretty sure. New Warframe Noko is out, little Myconid Mushroom Man. Absolutely incredibly powerful. But for the most part, I've been playing the Soulframe for a while, so... Hello, fam. But very cool elements to this game. Combat is definitely one of them. And that guy just got confused and killed his own friend. Didn't know that could happen. So look at that. Okay, dude's gone crazy. We enjoyed that. I believe in the next iteration of the Preludes, combat is going to get another overhaul, which will be nice. For the most part, combat in this game is a little bit slower, but you get to be able to build your own combat arts, essentially. So, depending on what you want to do, magic use, weapon use, blocking, dodging, all those sorts of elements are all part of this game. I generally choose the dodge roll. Generally, I'll play a caster. Magic is a very, very fun element to this game that I personally really enjoy. I don't mind the melee combat. There are a lot of different elements that have been added recently. Totems enhance your utility, defense, and attack. And then you've also got something called runes that you can activate by stealing a soul and set bitches on fire. It's probably one of the stronger runes in the game. And it is very fun, so... We do have bow rune, Alka's breath, and then a magical rune. So if you guys are keen, I could showcase those to you as well. If you're not part of Soulframe, I would definitely recommend a few different things. Jump into my stream this afternoon. Shameless self-plug. But if you missed that one, I would definitely jump in and just watch Soulframe streamers for the directory ride weekend drops, I think, which is next week. So I think that's a good way to get yourself a key. If you're interested at all and you want to give the game a try at least, I would recommend it. As far as bugs, etc., they are present within the game, but for the most part, it's been really polished up, and it's only been out for about 24 months. So it is made by DE. The team have done an amazing job at this game, I think. There's a whole bunch of little corrupt avocados, but I call them the Cabbage Patch Kids because they turn into a little lettuce every time that you kill them. They do regenerate, and there's a whole roster of new bosses in the game too, which is lovely. So this is Kombucha, but I call him Kombucha. Reason being, I like naming things in the game. But for the most part, he's pretty easy to run through. And he is part of the new fable or quest that we just got. The Corrupted Bear, which is pretty sweet. So and he does resummon his little Cabbage Patch Kids, so they're always fun to go up against. You can do melee in this game, and surprisingly, it's not too bad. It's still being fleshed out though, so your weapons are still your best bet to go up against pretty much anything in the game. And they do have RNG in this game, so it is really worthwhile testing out a few different things in game, and that's what I've been doing pretty much since the update drop. So I have been spending a bit of time with quite a few other Soulframe players as well. So Drizzy, I'll just drop you that message as well. Where are we? I think I'm part of your server as well. Hang on. Let me just have a quick looky. I think, is it the Swarm? I'm pretty sure. Let's have a look. Is it the Swarm server that you're part of, Driz? Or is it the stream team? I've got both of them. Oh yeah, there you go. I'll just DM that message that I said that I'd send you. I'm invading your chats. Hello. Dope. There we go. Thank you, thank you. Okie dokie. There are factions that you have in the game too. I have just switched away from my original one, and reason being, a lot of the RNG drops in the game, they're a little bit janky still, but this particular faction that I'm a part of, they're kind of assassin-ish in a way. They generally have the better RNG drop chances for pretty much all of the rarest items in the game. I have been talking to quite a lot of the people within the Soulframe server, And yeah, a lot of people are saying, oh, I can't find this, I can't find that. I'm absolutely convinced from running through this game that the RNG drop chance tables for each particular faction is pretty much tied to the opposite trait that they have. So to give you guys a breakdown of that, Silent Rose, they're more of like the kind of assassin-y kind of faction, where Kit the Kings, for example, they're more of, say, like your fighters, melee, get dirty, get your fists into people's faces and just smash the crap out of them. And then you've got Alka's Children, which are predominantly, say, a druidic kind of faction, if you will. And they drop pretty much more magical kind of style weapons, and items as well. However, I have found pretty much the Silent Rose carries the magical side of weapons, armor, etc. So I'll take you through some of the mechanics that I found to be really interesting in this game. So there are 3 different traits that we use in game: courage for strength, spirit is for duration of abilities, and then we've got grace, which is range of your abilities. Thinking in like Warframe terms, you've got packs. They all have 3 different abilities. I don't know if that's going to be increased in future. So every single pact that we have or obtain within the game, they all have their own unique style of playthrough. Mora's Hand essentially is kind of like a throw some fire, have a bit of fun. Ode Tempest, more of, say, like a lightning based pact, protecting, defensive, kind of now a little bit more mobility as well. They fixed up something within the pact that allows you to tether yourself. It's essentially like, in Warframe terms again, like Valkyr's Ripline. Garen Rude, kind of like a radial blind with Behest against enemies, so it blinds them. Torment, basically you just one hit them. It's kind of like Soul Punch concept of, say, like Necros. And then Stampede is just summoning a whole bunch of stags to basically stomp the yard, which is it's a pretty good pact as well. These are the 3 starter packs within the game. A Shelter, that's the one that I chose. I really like being able to stone enemies. They freeze. Elder Bloom, best healing in the game as well. Phantom Block is really good CC utility. This pact for me was definitely the overriding choice as a caster and a healer, and it certainly helps you on the very start of the journey of Soulframe as well. These stats inherently will increase a few different things within the game, predominantly your ability use, but also your output of damage of your abilities within packs, but then also your melee. So we do at the moment have quite a huge amount of weapons to acquire. There are a few weapons I've had to sell off. The only reason being is because I've used the premium currency in-game to rush a few items, so I'm out of that. Essentially, combat arts is also another element that ties in with the virtue system. So say, for example, if I want to use a spirit-based weapon that's attuned to that particular required stat, there are weapons in the game that will have excuse me, an attunement to spirit, courage, or grace. And that essentially will increase or decrease the amount of damage output that you do with that particular weapon. And that is dependent on pact use as well. Some packs will have a higher spirit or a courage output than others. That's an element that I actually like within the game. However, it's not very clear to begin with. So what I've been really enjoying about Soulframe is that figuring little details out. It's, as you guys know, even in Select Warframe, there's a lot of details that don't really get thoroughly explained, but I guess that's, you know, what streaming's about. So I really enjoy a lot of the mechanics within the game. What I've been recently doing is reattuning certain weapons away from their original attunement. So this used to be attuned to spirit, and it has a minimum required spirit of 20 points, but I have been able to acquire items that allow me to retune the weapon and change the actual requirement of what particular stat that it attunes to, which is courage now. That predominantly is more of, say, like your damage output, as I mentioned earlier, and it's very, very strong within the game at the moment. You will come across grace-based attunement weapons and also spirit, which are predominantly your magical casting weapons. These in particular are very, very strong. There's a reason why I've got 2 of them. I maintain one attuned to spirit, but also because it has voltaic damage. I am looking to attune this weapon not to spirit anymore. I'm looking to attune that to courage. So at the moment it does 71 damage because of the attunement that I've got to spirit. But say, for example, if I drop my courage all the way down, go to spirit, pop that up to 20, you'll see now that it will have a higher damage output. Not that much, 78. But you can play around a lot of different little elements within this game to make it work for you, essentially. So I am going through and just testing a few bits and pieces around the game at the moment, just to kind of see where I can kind of maximize and kind of just cheese the damage output within the game. So we do have secondaries as well. These 2 daggers are very, very nice. I do enjoy flyblades as well. Ranged combat in the game is actually quite good. The bows as well are very, very nice. But as I mentioned too, totems are something that have been additionally added to the game, where it gives you a little bit more utility, defense, attack. So I have been playing around with a few different builds within the flyblade combat arts, but also we have something like a rune that we can farm and access a higher damage output, which this one specifically I've been able to farm out and rank 3, and it gives you more voltaic damage for 30 seconds. You can stack that damage, so I can show you guys how that works as well. These are totems, so you've got different totems for all the different combat arts that we have: long swords, short swords, flyblades, magic weapons, polearms, long swords, and bows. So these ones are very, very useful to basically capture an animal like what we did just before, and they give you a copy of themselves or their spirit, which you can apply into your weapons to increase your damage output. I choose to increase my overall armor rating because our envoys, as of this preludes, have definitely gotten a little bit more squishy in certain elements, but also you can increase your armor rating by armor as well. And you'll see you've got defense, physical, magical, and stability. Stability is basically how much damage you can take before they knock you on your butt. I've been playing around with a whole bunch of different armor sets as well. And if you're familiar with Warframe, you've also got your fashion framing as well, which is really nice. I do have an overall armor rating at the moment of 69, which is too bad, but it's also my favorite number. And then we've got combat arts as well. So each particular field of combat that you choose, you do have different passives that are beneficial to that particular weapon type that you use. Spectre Strike is based around perfect dodge, not really something that I utilize, but I particularly like this one in the magic class because of the standing still and the increased casting speed that the magic weapon will obtain from that particular passive, I guess. So if I go ahead and equip something like the Odiak or the Gwilyn Staff or the Earthstreet, I can also apply another rune that allows for extra attack speed, which is pretty phenomenal because you can turn yourself into a electric fire gun or rail gun, basically, if you will. So I can actually take that for a run and show you what that means. So also a small note as well, because I've got a certain armor setup for my envoy via the Precles and having that equipped, this one will allow me to have a higher overall armor rating, which is phenomenal. And also within the Odiak itself, I also have a defensive slot open as well. So that gives me even more armor class on top of what I had before. So you'll see it's now 81. But I'll take the Odiak showcase for a run, just so you guys can see what like the magic damage output is like because it is actually quite good. I'll go do a mini boss for you as well, so you guys can see what the boss dudes are like. A lot of the open world or the island that we run around on is called Midrath. We're basically a druid, I would say, or druid-like paladin, a naturalist who likes to get rid of the corrupted enemies that have invaded our world. They're called the Sinecure. They are pretty stock standard enemies. They don't like you. They group around and wait for you to run into their camps, and you can basically just destroy them. They're really fun to go up against. I feel there's going to be some extra weapons being added into the game. I'm pretty sure next update. But I'll show you one of the corrupted enemies. Is relatively easy to get along with. I guess you could kind of say it's kind of like a raid boss in a way. But as far as say like raid terms go, it's not really raid based in that sense of different games. So I'll show you what the Oshelda pack does. This is the original pack that I have, and it's quite useful. The boss fights though, relatively pretty good. You can stagger enemies as well, which is really nice within combat. And you can also give them a heart attack, which is really nice. These guys, I don't really have a lot of information on their backstory. I know that they're corrupted, and they basically just want to kill you. This dude, though, is the Nell Knight, and that's the passive, the Oshelda pack that I'm wearing. The magical arm that has the abilities. You can rank them from level 0 to 100. To rank 30, sorry. Eventually, once you hit rank 10, you get access to all 3 abilities. I'm just going to see if I can stagger this mofo. There we go. That's called a Soul Steal. It's essentially like a critical hit, but within Soulframe they call it a Smite. And then basically the entire setup that I just showed you guys can melt the hell out of him. So there's a lot of different capabilities within the with the game so far, which is really nice. And we've just gotten an item that allows you to basically change the attunement requirements of certain weapons. And there are, I think, about 4 different styles of joinery at the moment. You've got the Quicksilver for bows, you've got Verite for melees. Gildor can be attuned to both melee and your ranged. But then there's also magic attunement, Blessed Feybolts, which are pretty rare to acquire. The good thing is, though, is that I've now got a particular joinery that I am looking for, which is a Feybolt class, but it has to be something called Blessed by Iridus, which will allow me to attune the magic gauntlets that I've got into the courage-based attunement, which is pretty rare to find. So overall, the game is really enjoyable. I like the effects. I like being able to fight bugs in the game as well. It's kind of like a bit of a fun side project, and we do have a Discord for anyone that does have access to Soulframe to be able to essentially give feedback on anything that they do find. So that's also another draw card in my understanding of being able to play the preludes, is that if we can find a way to break the game, we can give the feedback, and hopefully it gets the see, like jumping in water, having no gravity or slowdown. There's no capability to swim or anything in the game just yet, but we'll see possibly in time if we do get that ability for it. So overall, I think the preludes have been really smooth for the time that I've been playing them, and they've actually just gotten a lot better since the last update, which was a couple of weeks ago. So this guy is a messenger basically from the faction that I'm a part of. I'm gonna go take a bit of a run and see if I can take on the mini boss again. And this basically helps you rank up all of your
Envoy, you know what to do.
your packs, your weapons, your envoy class as well. You do have capability to basically start with a male frame or a female frame. Once you do have that set, you can't change it, unfortunately. But freely you can change your name within the game, I'm pretty sure. And you can go back and change a few different elements of your envoy, like hair color, eye color. And there is capability for changing those elements at will, mostly through your codex, which is essentially your compendium of information for the game. Pretty much everything that you come across will give you experience. As far as farming, yeah, there's some elements that will take a little bit of time, but overall, relatively easy to do. It's just very similar to Warframe. Take the time, explore. It's worth exploring. That's what the game is foundationally built on. Accessing different world trees around the map will basically clear the fog of war. Collecting certain little elements that you can capture, which are called motes, around different points of interest will allow you to essentially translate the language of Midrath, and it will give you a little bit more informational historical pieces around certain points of interest within the game, like College of Pensives. That's something that you'll come across very early in the game. I have been working on doing a little bit of a walkthrough series as well. There's a ton of information out there for Soulframe. I actually started it blind. I didn't really want to go through and kind of ruin the experience basically by figuring out everything from the get-go and then just blasting through it. I don't really like doing that. I would prefer to go through and play a game where I figure it out along the way, and that's pretty much why I enjoy doing what I do, is play a game, enjoy it, figure it out, challenge yourself, as I'm sure most of us do. If you do get stuck, there's plenty of information though in and around Soulframe. I'm pretty sure there's a wiki, but that is something that I don't necessarily look at. So if I get the opportunity to help other players, that's part of the reason why what I do. I really enjoy figuring out different builds, how certain things work, and just figuring out, okay, how does this work? How is the game developer creating something within the game? And how can I make it better, or how can I exploit, so like damage output as an example. This particular enemy does not like, apparently, physical damage or magic damage at the moment. So I think this is one of the parts of the elements of the game where you do have a bit of a buggy issue, but I'm pretty sure that'll be fixed up within the next update that'll be coming through, hopefully by the end of the year. We don't really have a lot of information on that just yet, but eventually we will find out when the next update is as well. So combat overall is pretty straightforward. It is pretty fun. You can stagger enemies. They can do a lot of AoE stuff. They can either have an extreme resistance to a damage type or just completely get their ass handed to them. Objectively, that is the aim of the game in certain points. But this one apparently doesn't like voltaic damage, unfortunately. So that is something that I have been testing this last week. Just trying to figure out why it's not necessarily accepting the damage output that should be being applied within the game. So that is one element that I have been looking at this last week. So hopefully I can get some results of it and see what it actually means and why it's actually doing that. So these little dudes, the Sinecure, they're the ones that I mentioned before. Just mobs. They're really nice armor. You can pick up fragments of their weapons and you can take it to your boundary, or I guess blacksmith, to Volcane. She's pretty self-depreciating, but I wish I could give her a hug. But she's basically the element that allows you to craft everything that you utilize in the game, and that's essentially how you level yourself up. So I like a lot of the different elements that this game brings, so. And this mofo can get a little bit annoying sometimes, depending what you use up against him. Generally, physical attacks are generally a better port of valor, especially with these guys as well. Ah, nice, Orb. You just started playing? Dope. That's very cool. Thank you very much for the follow as well. Yeah, there's tons of stuff to this game, man. Like, it's a really, really good game. But figuring out what's working and what's not working and why, that's another big draw card to being part of the preludes as well. I like the fact that it's not absolutely perfect. It's still within a prelude state, so not even alpha state, really. So being part of a pre-testing kind of group and just nerding out over the different physics mechanics in the game as well, gravitational stuff. Like, there's a huge list of different elements that I find really interesting. So one of them is certainly going up against these world bosses, basically, and just kind of figuring out, okay, why do you like one damage type without liking something else, basically. It's pretty good to just experience it all yourself to begin with, but then eventually you start figuring out, okay, like, this is what the virtues do, this is what they mean. Leveling up a character, how do I do that, you know? Like, there's a lot of different elements to this game that I really enjoy. So as far as like the damage output for the Odiak, that is something that I've been looking at pretty much for like the last week. Certain bosses, enemies will just get absolutely annihilated by this particular weapon. Other times they are completely resistant to it. So figuring those sorts of things out is like, yeah, that's what I really enjoy. But this mofo, yeah, clearly doesn't like it. So he does take a little bit more of a longer time. But also figuring out too, like, there's certain things like his hitbox area. Like, where does it start? Where does it finish? It's been very interesting seeing the different shifts within certain bosses, and this is one of the ones that I like going up against quite a lot. Like dodge rolling, etc. It is useful, but I don't think it's like super refined as far as, say, like, your perfect dodge roll goes. But how are you enjoying your Soulframe journey as well, or what pack did you start with? Corpus, did you get access by watching the stream? No, I actually just went searching for people who were streaming Soulframe, and I met a dude. He just had like the stream going, and I said, oh, what's the game like? And we just started chatting, and he eventually just turned around and was like, yo, do you want a code? I said, sure. And yeah, he had a spare one, so that's how I got into the preludes. I did sign myself up, I think it was like last year, I'm pretty sure, but that's how I got into the preludes. So oh, you're using the Oshielda? Yeah, nice. If you want to build for it, I'm happy to share one for you. It's a really good Pact. The fact that it gives you a base boost in spirit is quite good. Very useful for a lot of the packs within the game, especially ones that rely on duration. Oshielda does have duration base to it. I do find the third ability, though, I think the output for the Phantom Block, these guys, if you miss the target, it's okay if it lands near them, but it's better to see if you can force proc your aim down sights, which is actually your block key within the settings as well. That's something that I really feel like could be like, you've got melee throw / recall. That is nice. So if you said block / aim sights, I think that would be beneficial. It is PC based. I'm left mouse and right hand keyboard, so some people say that's weird, but I enjoy being weird. All three spells seems useful. Yeah, especially when you're first starting in Soulframe. Elder Bloom, this one here, it just heals you. Enemies can basically just shit all over you, but it will out heal them and their damage as well. So this guy doesn't do too much damage, but it is an extremely useful ability for healing and out healing them as well. 3 opens up the melee finishes, so that's fun. Yeah, it does. Yeah, I'm pretty sure building stagger with this dude does help. The unfortunate thing is, though, I don't have any melee abilities with my envoy at the moment. The fun thing is, too, that these little a-holes as well, they can dodge your casting as well, which is something that's relatively new since the update as well. So I probably could just disappear and change my weapons, so hopefully I can lose his lock on, but he will run for quite a long time just trying to chase you. But you do have access to, say, your in-game arsenal, the knifehold. Oh look, there's a duck. I always capture animals. At the moment there is a little bit of a bug with this. Some animals will give you a replica or multiple instances of their totem. Yeah, this a-hole's gonna keep running through. What I mean about the replicas of the totems is that you can melt them all down for excess materials that you can keep on leveling up all of your totems, which are the items that those little animal captures will allow you to apply to your weapon bases, so you can get everything that I was showing before. You know, attack speed, reduction of armor for animals, armor. Oh man, I keep on running into enemies all the time. Alright, I'll see if I can run away from these guys too. I don't necessarily want to surrender, but that's alright. I probably can if I need to. What I'm trying to do is just get back into the Nightfold so I can switch out my armor. And my weapons as well. There we go. Sweet. Thanks, Lady D. I can pretty much go do like another run somewhere else. It's not a bad thing sometimes to be doing the better part of Valor and just run away. Especially when you first start out. You will get your ass served to you. So what I'll do, I'll switch up the weapons that I've got. So smite on weapons, as a note, is very, very handy within the game. The more you smite or critical hit an enemy and they start glowing and you pull that soul from them, you can essentially regenerate yourself. So as an example, with my builds, like I showed, magic armor, a huge boon for any envoy. Additional smite chance is really, really effective because that will actually stack on your weapon smite chance. And reduction in armor, not really sure how that works too much. Attack speed is always quite a good choice. Damage to nearby enemies, it will only affect one other target out of your main targeted enemy. Armor reduction is good, but I do like the attack speed, especially more in, say, like your melees. So I'll bring that one, and then I'm actually going to switch up to a, let's have a look, probably the Duelian. That one's a 3-star damage output. So it does do a lot more damage. So 121 attack is really, really good. And also with this one, I generally do more stagger and attack reduction of armor on enemies with the armor increase within the defense slot, and then the additional smite chance as well. You will notice sometimes the UI will be a bit janky, especially within the when you start attuning different virtues. I would recommend probably just stepping out of like the UI and then coming back in, and then you'll see the everything update. Essentially, you do have 4 different loadout slots. They do save some of the information, but essentially everyone that you change to, it will basically force all of your points into one particular channel of these stats, so you'll just have to rearrange them a bit. I really hope that that does get fixed up, hopefully within the next update as well. Let's have a look. So 25 courage, spirit, grace I don't really need a whole lot of, but basically if you float 10 points in each virtue, you're generally pretty safe. For some of the starter weapons, I believe if you started with the Oshelda orb, you'll start off with the Gwilyn staff. So the higher spirit you've got, obviously the more damage output you'll have for your attack. Smite chance is 9 in 100. It's not too bad, but there are some weapons that have a 2 in 25 chance for smite chance, which is relatively quite regular. I still do a lot of magic armor, but I have been playing around a little bit more with different kind of ways to use the magic weapons as well. So Gwellin is pretty good. Its arcanic damage type is quite effective against most enemies. The Voltaic, however, is still very strong. This used to be the starter gauntlet or magic user weapon for this spirit class, but it's now since been changed to the Gwellin. And then you can look forward to getting the Street. That one's a really good weapon as well. So I can showcase these as well, which I probably will do. I don't have a huge amount of spirit for this Pact, although it does supplement a higher damage output for these guys. So I could probably do that instead. So you can, like I say, float 10 courage, 10 grace, and then just pump your magnitude stat for whatever pact or class of pact that you want to be using. We did used to have an opportunity where I think you could like tab on the actual pact to see the actual stat output for them. But with leveling your packs and your envoy as well, your overall level account will get boosted by everything that you do in the game. So gaining experience by just killing enemies, building and crafting armor, different packs that you come across, doing your quests, the Sparrowtail quest that I was doing just before, you can complete those and you win rewards basically. But essentially on every single pact, on the top part of the tree, you've got different points to spend within the different virtues. So spirit, grace, and courage. You can build into Everbound, which allows you to have maximum life increase. So what that'll mean is that I can boost my overall life higher. But for the most part, when you get into the comfortability of the game a little bit more, I always build for more arcanic powers recharge more quickly, which means basically all of my arts that I use within my packs will recharge far more efficiently. Vernal Pool is recharging more quickly when you stand in water. It's okay. I don't really use it. I always build into Sympathy for regaining life on any smite on an enemy, and Voided as well to damage smite. So every time I damage them, they'll glow. I pull their soul out. I get healed instantaneously, and I also do damage. So it's a huge benefit to any envoy building into these within your packs. And each pact will have a different passive. So Oceelder passive is the extra recharge of your abilities if you're standing in water. But I build the Tendril, which is more of, say, like a slowing movement or freeze for a very short amount of time. And that will get affected by your spirit duration, essentially. So, which is also, again, another benefit. The armor that we have in the game at present, all of them have different physical, magical stability stats. So you can basically essentially mix and match what you want. I could basically just chuck on, as an example, like the Mannequin King set. It looks cool, you feel cool, but also you get a much higher damage rating. Quite a lot of magical defense, also physical, and a little bit of stability. And overall, an armor rating stat is beneficial to a particular pact itself, which is called Bromius, which is the brand new one that we actually got in the game. This one, Song of Growth, is basically increasing armor strength for you and allies. Webbit Root, basically just like a grasp and hold for a certain amount of duration. Does do a little bit of damage, but not too much for enemies. And then lastly, Romthump, that one basically will literally shit all over enemies, which is fantastic. Burning Vikings, wow, thank you very much for the code. I would probably say if anyone in chat wants that, go ham, but just let Burning King know that you've you've taken the code as well. I will be doing my own little code thingy this afternoon as well. So, but yeah, let me know, like, do you guys play, how many more of you guys play Soulframe as well? Where are you guys up to in the game? And then also, or you were mentioning by building Stagger. Stagger does, it is beneficial to building that Stagger up against enemies, yes. You can essentially bypass it with this particular pact, but this one being a little bit later in the game, I would probably say if you've chosen O'Shelter, build everything into your arsenal, like weapon fragments, armor, doing your quests. If you've chosen a different pact starter kit, it doesn't necessarily lock you into that particular pact. You do get access to the rest of them within the game. It just gives you basically a bonus stat to whoever you choose. Tethering is another really, really good starter one as well. Reason being, Fellist, once you've maxed this pact, Fellist is basically a coat your weapon. It'll last for as long as you don't use it, but once you attack 5 times, it will remove that boost in your damage, basically. This one's a really, really good one, and it does apply its consecutive attack damage to basically any of your weapons in the game. Even your magic weapons and all of your secondaries as well. Call of Ancients, pretty easy run through. It just attracts and frenzies enemies, increases your damage, but it also increases your defense for a short amount of time. So duration and will basically enhance that, which is good, so it lasts longer. And then Clash is basically an instant, like, get away from me, which is pretty useful. And then lastly, your Siren. This one's an interesting one. Pixtrix Powder is basically just throw down Pixtrix Powder. It blinds enemies in a radial area, essentially. Trick of the Light is essentially, thinking Warframe terms as an example, Loki's decoy. Once it explodes, it can do a lot of damage to enemies, and that can actually be supplemented and built higher by boosting your courage completely and then reducing range and your duration of spirit in your virtues to basically nothing, and just put all of your courage into that particular ability is very useful. And then Glamour, you just turn into a beautiful butterfly, and you can sneak up behind enemies and use it, but I choose to just backstab them, which is really, really fun. If you guys want me to showcase these guys, I can certainly happy to share and show you guys those. But with the O'Shelter, if you do want to like snapshot that, you're welcome to. But I always build into these particular 3 nodes within any pact. Once I've got it to rank 30, I generally will start and build into the top tree first. And these 3 elements do change for every pact. Some will have Mora's Pride over here, Iridis is here, etc. So this being a spirit-based user pact, it interests me as to why that's the middle node rather than the actual starter. So I feel like each pact, whatever base attunement of virtue that it mostly leans towards to, I find it interesting that they put Grace as its very first life tree node. So, and Mora's Pride, I'm pretty sure on Tetherin, I think is in a different slot as well. So yeah, that one is in the very end, which in my head, it would make sense to have Mora's Pride here. It may be elements that may change over time, and I hope so, because I think Mora's Pride would make more sense here. Grace, not so much, so put that at the end. And then Spirit, obviously, for duration. And also just being able to build the actual pact itself. I'm not able to put another 2 points in. Not really sure why. It's mostly just because of the way that some of the packs are built, which is kind of good because it doesn't make you extra OP or overpowered. So I guess it's kind of like DE's way of kind of just being like, hey, we're going to balance it a bit in certain ways. So I'll keep on playing with the O'Shelter though, because I do enjoy it and it's fun. I feel there may be a few more enemies that I may have access to, but overall there are level requirements for certain areas within the game. This particular mid-western area is your starter area. So level 1 to like 15 enemies, they're generally pretty easy to run through. Most of these areas are worthwhile visiting. Everywhere in the game really is. Carlisle specifically, and Fort Carlisle, this is more like a township. This area is probably like the strongest enemies that you'll have, especially when you're like starting out in the game. And figuring out, you know, where are the quests taking me? There's also another mechanic in the game. You can get real sassy. You can snap your fingers. I love that sound. I think this was done really, really well. This is our spirit guide, the sparrow or Flappy Bird. It does have tracking in the game, which is nice. So say, for example, you can chuck a waypoint down or just click on an icon. This is a faction tail. So this is how you can basically acquire extra materials within the game to be able to go through and just say, collect everything that you need. You do have a chance of getting rarity items as well, which are beneficial. And over time, you'll be able to essentially outkit your envoy with basically the entire weapon bases in the game. Combat arts, you get all your points up. You can spend those into your combat arts. And you can just feel like a real powerful envoy, which is great. So these corrupted slugs, they do have basically a very strong amount of armor. If they lift up and you see the black oil underneath them, that's their weaker area, so try to aim for that. I will share like a few little bits and pieces that I've been able to figure out over time with other Soulframe players as well. Controller aim assist in the game, for some reason, seems to affect the, I guess, this missile ballistic kind of mechanic. I have been testing it with it off and on as well. So it basically, if you turn it on, it just makes it easier with your reticle. Even when you can't see it, it's basically, it will follow there and aim. If you don't have it turned on, it will basically kind of choose other targets, not specifically in front of you. So if you do have it turned off and you're noticing that you're using this particular weapon as an example, as you can see there, I wasn't even targeting those boxes, but that's what it's prioritizing at the moment. So those sorts of elements in the game, I actually find really fun to figure out, okay, why is the controller aim assist working on certain things like this when you do have it on, and then when you turn it off, why isn't it working? So that's also part of the feedback process of being part of the preludes as well, which is something I mentioned before. I really, really enjoy. Massive nerd for this sort of stuff, and yeah, there's a lot of things that to figure out in the game so far. So it's definitely kept me playing since I started playing it. So that's a Soul Smite. I could use the Elder Bloom ability if I really want to. It does activate my rune once I pull the soul from an enemy. You can get different colored styles of the Soul Smite too. So you can get red, green, or blue. You do notice it once they start glowing. And because I've got the rune activated on my weapon, it basically calls lightning down to damage an enemy, which is extremely beneficial. So now I've got the red soul, which is really nice. And it resets the timer for my rune. And I can just heavy attack. If the enemy is bestoned with a shielder, and you do a heavy attack, and they don't have enough health, basically below like roughly 30%, they will basically explode, which is really nice. So you can really hurt some of the enemy's feelings, because they certainly hurt yours, especially as a early envoy. If you don't really have the blocking mechanics or anything, and just kind of getting a feel for the game, I certainly got my ass handed to myself multiple times. These guys can also do a sacrificial lightning storm to basically take you out, and the first time you come across it, I can guarantee you won't see it coming, and you will get downed. But you can also resurrect yourself. It's you turn into your spirit form of your Flappy Bird, and you can basically find your body on the ground, and that's one of the sacrificial lightning storms that the enemies can do. So good thing to note, heavy enemies like this guy, the Phantom Flock will do really, really good crowd control, and then basically can stagger them. And if you do get a smite off, it's quite good, because it will give them a lot more damage output. But yeah, that's basically some of more of the advanced areas of the game for defenses and attack, etc. The runes drop from bosses. Yeah, they do. If you want, I can show you which ones to focus on. They are quite strong, but take them on at your leisure. I would honestly recommend leveling up your pact as much as you possibly can. So farming up the very early stage of the game. I would say run a lot of the Undercity. There's weapon racks in there. I can do a few different runs for you just to kind of showcase that. So let's go to the Glades of Andoran as an example. The northwestern quarter of the map is where your higher level enemies are and are produced. These new Andoran Glades have been added to the game since the last preludes. So I'll go and do a run through the dungeon and I'll show you how. These balloons here, they drop loot. Aim, explode, and you get lots of Drax, which is essentially just your base currency in the game. Actually, you know what? Because I'm feeling really lazy and I know that there's like a few different areas. Actually, I lie. I will go to Dermak Undercity instead. I'm going to go climb the highest mountain for you. You know, river deep, mountain high. I feel really cool by saying that. You do have 3 different time zones within the game that are relevant and key to a certain particular event within the game. I don't really want to ruin that for you, unless you're already aware of it. But this is Iridus, I think, and it runs for about half an hour, which is really nice. Coming from Warframe, where day-night cycles were an hour, I think. Yeah. The day-night cycles within Soulframe are halved by that. So you've got a morning, mid-morning, and then evening. So they are essentially special, predominantly more for one particular event that is still active within the game. Not really sure when that's going to end. It's called the Saccade. This particular dungeon, though, is an interesting one to open. You can choose it with another player. Or you can cheese it with a particular pact, which I'm probably going to do. So I'm just going to switch to that particular pact as well. It's called Orangol. It's very cool. Essentially, you become, say, like a ranger, and you can summon your own wolves. Up to 2. You can technically have 3, but you can also morph yourself into a wolf as well. The she-wolf, she's pretty cool. And hopefully I can cheese this particular dungeon. There we go. So the way that I did it just then is chop your envoy onto this one, turn into Wolfie, and transport yourself there. And then for some reason it still makes that particular button over there just stay, which is good. And then, yeah, you can open this particular vault essentially. These are really, really good to run for multiple reasons. Leveling your equipment, but also obtaining all of the materials that you need within the game. To keep track of all that, you do have your inventory tab. You can check your miscellaneous. So as you can see, running through the game, you're going to get absolute shit tons of scrap iron, fronds, you name it. You'll become familiar with most of the particular items in the game. We do have floristry picking as well. So there's a lot of fauna and flora within the game too, which is pretty cool. And then fragments for armor as well. You get absolute shit tons of those. So you're going to get spoiled for choice pretty quickly. For Saku, how do I get access to the game? I would recommend signing yourself up to soulframe.com. Firstly, I am doing a code giveaway myself this afternoon. Burning Vikings did put a code in the game. Sorry, in the chat there. I'm not really sure if anyone grabbed that. I hope someone does. If you do, if you can just say that you obtain the code Burning Vikings, something like that in chat, then I don't know if they're still around, but I really do appreciate you dropping that into the code for free. That's pretty dope. I'll be doing a code giveaway this afternoon. It'll run for about like an hour and a half, I think. So I'm doing it my time. Drizzy dropped in before and he said he's happy to do a bit of a shout out for access to the game. But you do have to sign yourself up to soulframe.com. I think I've got some stuff in my Discord as well, to be honest. So I'll drop that into the socials there as well. I'm pretty sure, let's have a look. It should be under like the Soulframe forum information there for you. basically just kind of adding yourself into the soulframe.com Discord. Actually, it'll be under Soulframe News. It's all direct information from Soulframe as well. Now the game's going to be MMO or more to the single player. No, it's more MMO a little bit at the moment. It is predominantly solo player. You can play with other envoys. The co-op is relatively good. It still is a little bit janky though. So say for example, if you're farming something specific within the game, I recommend doing it solo. I wouldn't be doing it in a group. The only reason why I stipulate that is that you'll get better drop tables. That's also something I've been talking to people about within the game. You do have 3 different factions you can be part of, but the one particular faction that I'm part of tends to have better drops for the rare equipment in the game. So that's not to dissuade you from playing co-op. Like, it's fun, and you want to play with your friends, obviously. It's not to say I don't have friends playing this game. I do play co-op, and I was doing a run with someone else this morning just to see if their drop tables would drop the particular fragments of an item that we're trying to farm. But I've had a lot more success playing solo, and also playing with a particular faction. As I mentioned, it does seem for some reason to have a much better drop chance of particular items in the game that people are saying, hey, this item isn't showing up for me, like I don't know where to farm it. No matter how much they like focus farm that particular area, they're not getting a drop for that particular item. It can be a few different things, but from experience, the particular faction that I'm part of, Silent Rose, has had a lot more success in farming a lot more of the rarer equipment, fragments and items in the game. So I mean, you can choose to start off with them as your faction, but you do get a weekly rotation of access to each other faction. Granted, you've got to have the right talisman for that faction, which you will pick up absolute shit tons of. I'll show you the amount of fragments you can get. It's absolutely crazy. Medallion of Mora is the one that you can craft to access the Kings. So that's more of the Tether and Courage based faction. Silent Rose is Siren. So that starts off with the Siren Pact and a bow, which is Thistle. Well, I think it's this one here. Yeah. And then Oshielda, it starts off with that particular pact, and then you start up with the Alka's Children. Their drop tables are pretty good for some of the more rare equipment in the game, but my personal experience has been the Silent Rose and the Rose's Bodkin. These talismans are the 3 access keys for those factions. You do have to have something called a Sacred Shimmer, and you do have to max out your faction to rank 3 at least to be able to obtain one of these. They cost about 3,000 standing, and to get standing, just run those Sparrow Tails that I was showing you guys earlier. I'm just doing a really like easy kind of run through to show you what the experience of the dungeons is like. Level 36 enemies, the higher they are, obviously the more experience points that you'll be able to obtain from them. I don't think these weapons need leveling, so you're not going to see me leveling anything in particular. I do have basically everything in the game max leveled. There are a few different things that aren't leveled. You can break shit. It's awesome. You pick up knotwood, you pick up materials, grab your chests. There's weapon racks, like these ones here. They'll give you either iron or steel. You will find that you'll need quite a bit of the iron, which is a little bit rarer to find. So that is dependent on the tile set of the dungeon that is generated for you. So the lower they are, they still drop a lot of materials, but you don't get as many like rarer drops essentially. So anywhere from 15 plus dungeons will generally give you a little bit more better drops essentially. There are puzzles in the game which are fantastic. I love having a good puzzle, and there are some really intricate ones. One specifically to the Cicada event, to get a whole set of armor that's basically crafted for free, because who doesn't like free to play? But these guys, for the most part, in these dungeons, they can smack the crap out of you. As you can see, I like to live dangerously. You can get life elixirs. as well. But even using these dogs or the wolves that you can summon, you can have about 2 of them summoned at one time. You just have to wait until that ability is able to recast. But this heavy unit is an absolute pain in the ass. He does do everything that he possibly can to give you the shits, basically. You can turn it to your wolf form and then just ragdoll them or attack them, and you can teleport your envoy to that particular location. Only by attacking, though. If you press the ability again, it will teleport you back to your body. So as far as fast travel is concerned within the game, no, we don't have that just yet. There is talk of mounts within the game. I have no information where that may happen. But as far as the fast travel goes, you can technically fast travel with other envoys inviting you to their instance and being able to teleport around the map that way as well. So there's cheeky little ways that you can do stuff like that, which is pretty cool. But yeah, as far as the fast travel in game, there's not really fast travel, essentially. I was going to backstab you, but whatever. Alright, I'll just give the wolf a go. I have noticed, though, with some of the aim tracking in the game, it does really lock onto enemies. To get away from it, just aim sight and face your camera away and you'll be fine. That wasn't an issue I noticed until recently as well. So, where are we? Alright, you bitches are going to go down. The Iron Ball Pact is pretty fun, though. I really enjoy it. You do have a melee mechanic with every pact. This one, you can use the claws that are attached to it. So I'm really glad that we got this particular mechanic back in the game. But as I mentioned before, your runes, your melee rune, Everflame, is an absolute nightmare against these guys. So no matter what level these guys are, you can basically just set the bitches on fire, which is great. And then checking all of your little details in and around, say, like a puzzle. So this is a light puzzle. There's this plate here with a little idol. I just get rid of these because I know that this is a sunlight puzzle. You can see the beam of light just down here. That's being blocked. That will bounce off to this mirror. And then you can look at this one and say, okay, where's that going to? And then you can just jump in here. And then that is not being directed to where it should be. Excusez-moi, sir. That's very rude. Come on. You do have something called recall. You can melee throw your weapon away, and then you can basically just beat the shit out of enemies with your hands. The melee damage actually doesn't do too bad, so this is the sparrow form that we turn into when we die, and then all you have to do is just fly back to your body. It's usually located like that pillar of light. There we go. And there we go. We got our life back, and we got a lot of healing. So basically, you can hit some of these mirrors. Some of them you physically have to walk up to if they look accessible. So say if that was standing here, which sometimes it is, you can just come up here. Another thing, or a mechanic I should mention, is Soul Sight. That is a mechanic that if you press and hold the particular corresponding key that you've set it to, you'll see this pulse come out of your envoy, and it will highlight things within the game. So I just broke these barrels to make that lever visible, and then you can see that that's just basically opened this up. You'll get a whole bunch of boxes. Sometimes you'll get a chest, which is this one here. So these ones generally give you pretty good rewards. A lot of it just gave me Drax, which is a real shame, but now in game I'm actually a millionaire. I really wish that could translate to real life, which it can. So more than happy to make that happen somehow. The dream with the stream, you know. So now that we've got that, you can actually teleport back to the start of every dungeon if you see these soul gates. I would really like to see this mechanic added into the game as your fast travel, to be honest. I don't know how other Soulframers feel about that, but I certainly feel it would make it beneficial. And with that sun puzzle, now that I've directed that sunlight to that particular idol, it will accept, and it'll basically give you everything within the special little vault that we've just opened as well. And that's how to do the sun little puzzles. They do change over time as well. So with tile set generation, every single tile set will shift around, change, but for the most part there are certain elements in every single tile set that do stay relatively similar. So this one here I believe is getting closer to the spirit of a dude that we can actually absorb, and he gives us a special ability for a timed amount. He is a bit weird to find sometimes though. I think I can go in here. Yeah, I can. Sometimes there's chests in here as well. But essentially Dermak Undercity is one of the dungeons that you'll run quite a lot, and just smashing everything that's in your path, basically. If you do get lost, use your Flappy Bird. Generally, his pathing will work. Sometimes it won't. But for the most part, it will. So if you get lost, just use him, and he'll basically direct you and get you out of your maze-like state, basically. And then I'm pretty sure there's a little blue dot on the map. This one here. It's basically saying to me that there's a particular special friend I can find and absorb. And you guys will come across this when you first start Soulframe as well. His name is Benjuktar, and he becomes one of the faction leaders that you come across in game. He's pretty cool, but the reason why I mention him and that little blue dot is that once you absorb him, you get to learn this anyway within the game. So I'm just trying to find where the hell he is. And this is the fun part of going through some of the maze-like areas too. Once you see something, it's like, sweet, I could go there. There's a lot of dead ends. Trust me on that. Hopefully this Flappy Bird is not drunk. Good, he's not. Exploration is a huge element to this game, as I mentioned. Very, very nice game. These guys are relatively easy to come across. You may not be smiting or stealing souls as much as what I will to begin with, but that will build over time, especially with those totems. So being or having access to the charming ability, I'm not too sure at what point as a newer envoy you'll get access to that, but eventually you'll be smiting pretty much every single enemy that you come across, even bosses as well. So alright, I'm gonna see if I can pull this one up. There we go. Sweet. There you go. Alright, so I'm gonna use Soul Sight, see if I can find Fen. There he is there. So it's a ghost man, and I can pull his soul, and you look cool, you feel cool. Very cool, dude.
With flame as kin, light the way.
He's basically a an angry man, but luckily he's on your side, and you get to play around with his soul for a very short period of time within the dungeons as well. So, and you also get access to his particular flame sword, which eventually you do acquire. But it does activate his soul. He doesn't necessarily stay around for the entire time, which is unfortunate, but it's a very cool mechanic that was added into the game. I think initially when the prelude started, and I was hoping that we'd be able to get access to it, and essentially we do now, which is very nice. So I think that drops this bridge, I'm pretty sure, or maybe not. I don't really know if there's a benefit to that bridge being dropped though. Yeah. So I've lost the Benjatar sword. Alright, Flappy, show me the way. Holy shit. There is a timed element to this finding your body as well. If you don't find it in time, you basically just resurrect at the headstone thing, or the soul gate that we just left. So we're cutting it real fine. only because I know it only gives you a certain amount of time. You can extend the time, but I might be lucky enough that yeah, okay, good. I get back in time. There are extra puzzle rooms. This one is one of them. I haven't really figured out anything else other than this particular lever here behind these barrels, and then sometimes I think there is a chest available to you up the top. You can kind of cheese it just by coming over here and looking up top. I don't think it actually spawns anywhere else up there, so if you don't want to waste your time that way, easy done. Hello, friend. Alright, I'll see if I can close out this dungeon and then run one of the faction tails as well, or sparrow tails. Ah, this one's a good puzzle room as well. Turn away now if you don't want to know how to do it. But there are lots of different puzzles, lots of different elements to this game. It's really, really nice. If you want to chill and just explore stuff and just kill stuff, I definitely would say overall, being able to play solo and within squad, you can have up to 3 squad members. It is a really enjoyable game. So I am very, very excited myself to see the future of it. I mean, this game being developed and put out within like a 2-year time span, I really think that Soulframe has done a really, really good job with this particular title. It's been really, really enjoyable to see a lot of the growth that they've had, and I'm really excited to see when and how it's going to be available to everyone. So that's basically like my entire feedback on Soulframe, and I really enjoy streaming it as well. I really do like a lot of the elements I've mentioned, and yeah, if I can get more people into it, if you are interested, I feel like that's a really cool thing. And if you do want to add me in game, you're welcome to. More than happy to answer questions if you don't want to ask in chat. I pretty much run at least 2 to 3 times a week within Soulframe, and then I will switch up the time between that with Warframe as well. The good thing is that both games have a staggered, I guess, schedule of updates as well. So this one came out, I believe, roughly a week just before the Warframe one did. So really glad that happened, because I really do enjoy playing both games. So I got to dedicate time to both of them. I have run through and pretty much finished most of the content for both of them. As I'm sure most of you guys know, it's really not hard to. You just want to get stuff done, move on, you play it your way. But I've really tried to extend the time of both games, more so Soulframe, because I just don't want to burn out on it, in all honesty, and I don't want to lose its luster that it's got for me. So hopefully we do see a little bit of a hotfix and update, hopefully before the end of the year. Again, I know that they've just released an update, so maybe we'll get something by the end of the year, but I'm not too sure on that just yet. If you are interested, they do Envoy hours every week on Twitch on Play Soulframe as well. So if you want to join the Twitch channel for Soulframe, they do run code giveaways every week with the Envoy hour, and that's with Sarah, the community manager, and they generally have other guests on there, or other team members as well. So that one, I'm pretty sure that they have up a schedule on, I'm pretty sure on their website, and also the Twitch. So that's another way you can obtain a code as well, outside of streamers who stream it. Also the directory-wide drops as well is the Envoy hour directly through Soulframe, just by watching their Twitch. But you do have to have a Soulframe account created and connected with your Twitch account too. So this is the signifying ending room of pretty much all of Dermac City. You'll always get a chest at the end here, either on that pillar, this one, or in the middle there. I do recommend running around to the corner and just seeing if there's a rare chest. 9 times out of 10, there generally is. You don't want to miss those, especially early on. But as you'll see, playing through the game, you will get a whole bunch of excess items as well. So hopefully we get some, say, like smithery or something like that eventually, that our blacksmith in the game can potentially utilize to basically kind of reduce the amount of stuff that we have. And the reason why I say that is because it is feedback that I've given, mostly in reference to account bloating as well. So also chests can spawn once you finish a mission as well. So I think it's like the little things that I really enjoy sharing. So I hope that most of the information I've given you guys has been helpful and informative. But for the most part, yeah, I recommend it. I really enjoyed this game. So I know I've said that like a billion times, but I'm a massive nerd for it. And yeah, coming from games like Baldur's Gate, like Neverwinter Nights, Skyrim as well, it's kind of just like a fresher look at a lot of different games that have the elements of, say, like your player combat, your combat arts, etc. And I just really enjoy the overall style and look and feel to Soulframe. And as you can see, there's plenty to do here, and there is more to come. So I really, really do enjoy sharing everything that I do. To note, also, probably something that you guys will figure out yourselves, these guys cannot die. You can hurt them, but that unfortunately they don't have soul mechanics. The only things that do are enemies. It's very strange to me that you can attack a townsperson and they don't react to you and they don't have a soul. That's something else that someone else mentioned to me the other day. So I really don't know if there's maybe like a secret in the game where if you attack one of these chicks like 100 times, maybe she'll turn into like a giant demon or something like that. Who knows? But yeah, I find that that's very strange that they don't react to your attack. So probably being fleshed out. Yeah, agreed, Orb. Yeah, I think DE being the creative Soulframe, I mean, there's a lot of assets that are new in Soulframe being refined and then being basically ported over to Warframe. So both Warframe and DE, you know, they get to benefit doubly so. And so do both like player bases, but also like all player bases from DE on Warframe and Soulframe. So I think that's a huge benefit. Like, holy crap, the music that they output, the story elements as well, like, as you know, like, they're incredible. So they do have a founders pack, I'm pretty sure, coming up for Soulframe. So I think that's going to be part of the dev stream when that happens. So I'll be there for that. And I'm very keen to give them my money. I don't know what the price points or anything are, but that is Orangol herself. Giant She-Wolf, she does show up, but she will pick random times of when she shows up too. But she will steal the kill. Initially, I thought it was annoying, but if she goes for a heavy unit, especially being early on when you do get the Pact, it's an absolute godsend. And you do obtain the XP as well. She doesn't take that XP from you, which is beneficial. So yeah, I absolutely think it will, to be honest. And I think a lot of players who were founders in Warframe or aren't founders in Warframe, I think it's really nice that they can get the opportunity to become a founder player as well, which I think is really cool. So I certainly want to become a founder in Soulframe. Reason being is because, yeah, a lot of the ones the long list that I've waffled on about for the most part as well. So I'll see if I can run, there we go, 3-star Faction Tail or Sparrowtail, and I'll probably wrap up stream after that. So probably about 15 minutes to give you guys preface. It is roughly my lunchtime, and I like to be able to feed my body, which is always nice. Unfortunate that we have to do that sometimes as humans, but it is needed. And I also just enjoy food, so not really sure what I'm going to make though. Gonna see if I can swindle one of my friends and be like, yo, let's go for lunch. And get some human interaction time as well. Oh no, the willow wings have gotten out of hand. Those big giant flying flappy dudes with the plants. Does that give me a willow wing? Damn it. Okay. That is an element of information though, that I have recently been giving out to a few players too. They said, where do I find this willow wing stuff? It's basically you crawl up to a plant, you steal their item from them, and that inherently will help you build a craftable item with one of our ancestral friends within our Nightfold, which I don't think I've really showed. This is essentially the arsenal of where we were before. Armoring, combat arts for all of our weapons, etc. Pretty much all of these elements. Talismans also, that's where we can equip different talismans. So these are the 3 that we talked about before. This is the special element talisman that you can get from a particular event called the Saccade. Well worth running for sure, because you do get the craftable armor from the Saccade by doing like a whole bunch of puzzle elements and running his particular event. And this is the full set that you get, and it is fully crafted once you complete the event too. So you can look like a really cool like foot soldier, or however you like. I am going to go restructure the coloration of this dude because I don't like the green on the legs. It looks weird to me anyway. Or like really high like FMBs, which I'm not opposed to, but I'm a little bit fussy with the coloration systems. This is one of the ancestors you will come across, Verminia. She's French. She's really good at giving backhanded comments, and she's relatively nice. But you can basically customize all of your color in the game of your armor as well, which is really quite nice. And I'm glad that they added this particular part of the system into Soulframe, this preludes as well. So I am trying to still figure out the different color nodes of which one activates which particular part of the armor. I figured out that for the most part, the second or last is basically the major part of your armor as well. So I'm just gonna go do like a, I don't know, yellow gold. Let's go with that. Nice and shiny. There's that one. And she does give you feedback as well. There we go. We'll just do that. There we go. Brown and gold. Your weapons are the same type, only differ in stats. No different secondary attacks. For the most part, each weapon will follow like a pattern of attacks. You do have heavy attack, so that does kind of change a little bit. Your heavy attacks, you can charge up and you can do like a thrust with, say, like a longsword. The halberds or polearms are quite a good example of that. And the sword and shield. So I'll whack that on and I'll showcase both of these for you. As far as the same type of weapons, they do follow a pattern of attack. So that's basically your melee secondary. You just do light attacks. You can follow up with a charged heavy, and then just do a quick heavy attack as well. Throwing, the same. You can do, say, like a running attack as well, which is, oh god, there's a reflection of water in the ground. That's amazing. Cool, we get our own puddle of water. That's what I mean about the feedback. And generally why I like doing the stream stuff too, is because I can basically visually show some of the bugs in game and be like, yo, at this point, da-da-da-da-da. I'm pretty confident some of the people in the dev team have actually watched some of the stuff that I put up. So that must just be an extended element of that particular area of water. Small details like that, but you know. As far as the polearms go, yeah, they basically just kind of follow your own set pattern. So most patterns of attack will follow the same script, basically. Essentially, that is, from my understanding of what I know of the combat arts, how they're going to be changed in the game is that you essentially can build your own play style with, say, like your polearms or your daggers as an example. The only thing that I will say in that is that I really hope that we do get different ways to swing a weapon with, say, like polearms, for example. The thrust mechanic is very good. Even like throwing to an enemy is really, really nice. I have attuned this weapon to be able to be thrown faster as well. Without all of the extra buffs on top of it, it's relatively slow, but it makes sense for you to kind of learn how the weapon will be activated within the game to start with. But yeah, Rook is one of the ones that is a much rarer one to find. But if you start off with Silent Rose, you do get fragments for it straight away. This particular one also has a particular way of getting it. This one does toes 2, rather than just your generic, like running along, playing your Sparrowtails and getting that. Just thinking about how different even 2 different assault rifles in Warframe play. Ah, yeah, okay, I see what you mean. For the most part, they do have their own way or look of how they're activated. Narash is actually quite fast. And then you've got something like Bone Marrow as an example. It's a little bit more of like a slower hitting weapon, but it hits like a truck. And again, with the totems that we went through earlier, you can increase its attack damage as well. So you can even just put 2 of the attack totems to increase your attack speed. And it's quite beneficial doing it that in particular. So I'll take you through and I'll show you a few different weapons. So if there's different weapon styles that you want to see, just, yeah, let me know. I'll chuck them on and I can showcase and see what you think. My particular favorite ones are probably the magic caster weapons. I am predisposed to them because they do have an intensely high amount of damage output as well. I hope that we have these mushrooms around. Funny that we have to go collect mushrooms in a forest in a game. Oh, well, that's already done. Okay, cool. Let's go do the Mike Wazowski paperwork, and then we'll finish off with the mini boss. Lestar Boy. I will have a code giveaway going through this afternoon, like 5 p.m. my time. But there was a lovely addition to a code earlier in the chat. I don't know if anyone's claimed it, to be honest. Viking was lovely and put that one to the chat. But I'll be running one in a couple of hours' time. I just want to jump in and just kind of promote it, essentially. So if you're keen for a code, I could do a giveaway. There are other ways to get codes as well. You can sign up to soulframe.com, jump onto the Soulframe Twitch as well, and they do an Envoys like playthrough, I think roughly once a week. And I'd say join the Soulframe Discord as well. There is a directory-wide code drop on Twitch running as of the 15th of November. And anyone that's streaming Soulframe will be able to do the drops enabled. And I think you watch for like half an hour. And you can get a code there as well. So there's plenty of ways to get codes at the moment. Oh, hey, bud. Sorry. See, look, they... Oh, well, I mean, they've run away, but they don't really scream or anything. So, anyway. I'll show you guys the Narash as well. It's quite good. I slept through this dev stream. Ah, shit. Well, that sucks. What time is it there for you at the moment? I assume that you're in more of like America, North America area, possibly Europe. I really shouldn't guess. I should just wait for you to answer my question. But I am doing a code drop this afternoon, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. my time. But if you want more of like guaranteed, just, yeah, check into the dev streams, etc. And even like the code drops directory wide next week will be active. So you've got plenty of opportunity over the weekend to be able to get your own code. So this is the Narash Longblade. It is pretty quick. So its overhead swing, etc., is unique to it. The other unique thing is that the game registers the rune as a longsword, so the animation actually gives you a lot longer extension of your rune attack than it technically should. So there's a lot of little bugs in the game that actually benefit certain weapon types, and Rush is one of them. It is a sharp damage type, and the only other weapon in the game, melee class in the polearms, that has its own unique blunt style weapon damage is the Brook. So that's very effective against armored enemies, which is essentially 90% of who you come up with. I'll show you the Bog and Myrtle. This one again is sharp damage. I do have the enemy armor reduction in there and the attack speed, and then I can probably showcase the Marrow's Bane as well. So I'll actually bring that one with the attack speed as well, and then let's have a look. One in Smite on kick. That's not really effective, but I'll chuck the duck in there for that, and then I'll just probably just chuck that one in there, and then I'll level this motherfucker up. It does cost you quite a bit of harmony to be able to level these guys up. So I've got 2 attack speed, I've got the perfect throw for Smite, and then magic armor as well, so I don't necessarily die too quickly. Static Green, yo, what's going on? What about optimization? Is it good in this game? Yeah, agree with Static. It's good. Like, for the time frame that they've had the game running, I mean, I do run like a few different settings still, like DLSS. Its performance is pretty good, graphically as well. I mean, I've just been playing around with quite a few different settings just to kind of get things running the way that I like. I do run it at 120 hertz for frame rate, and that doesn't hurt by any means. I have dropped it down to 75 just to kind of test it. I've tried quality settings on, what am I using? I'm using the NVIDIA 4060. I've done performance, quality, balanced. That all works pretty well. Graphically, it looks pretty good. Dynamic lightings, volumetric lighting, etc. Certain things you turn on and off. I think volumetric lighting, I think there was at one point like a few settings visually that you would certainly notice, like quite a bit of lag, etc. Ambient occlusion, I mean, it really doesn't matter too much. So overall, like lighting, etc., it has really been brushed up quite a bit. But yeah, it's on a constant update, essentially. I guess the more devices that they add to their roster for like graphics, etc., it's gotten a lot better than when I first started. It was pretty rough. All right, Mike Wazowski, paperwork. There we go. Static, you joined at a good time. We're going to see Marta as well. You know what? For this one, I'm going to switch up to the bow so you guys can see what I mean with the bows as well. Let's have a look. There's that one. All right. Hopefully, I don't give up the bounty before. I'll bring in Mora's Hand. It's not going to give me a huge boost, what I'm needing, but I will boost courage with a talisman, so there's another benefit to having talismans as well. They do benefit you quite a bit, especially when it comes to the virtue increases as well. I always play with DLSS, but the picture is very juicy. Oh yeah, like DLSS is like a lot better than what it was before. This is the Hand of Mora Pact. It's okay, it's not the best. There is certainly pacts that give you a much better synergy with your envoy, protection, damage output, and just CC ability, but the fact that you can set bitches on fire is pretty fun. So I chose a much stronger courage output, specifically for the bow. So bows at the moment are extremely strong on the game. You do have a single hit flame target for this particular pact, and apparently it doesn't want to target the enemy that I was actually aiming for. So again, our auto targeting is a little bit janky at the moment. The arrow hail for the bow, for the particular way that I built this particular weapon at the moment, it does smash the shit out of enemies, which is really nice. And the rune on it, called Alpha's Breath, is very effective against a lot of enemies, especially these guys being level 35. These are generally the higher level enemies that you can come across in the game. But activating this particular Pact, rune, is really, really powerful once you've got pretty much a maximized setup, but even not having max settings as well, or setup for a particular weapon type with a rune, it just adds a shitload more damage output, which is quite satisfying. So yeah, no resets, which is good. I think they were trying to minimize that in earlier iterations of the preludes, but eventually at points they had to do it. But they did retroactively give us like benefits back, basically. If you've earned something in particular, see, there we go. They did give it back to you in the future kind of update, basically. So I just was able to do like a 3-tier soul mode steal. That does extend the duration of your current rune activation. So if you get lucky and you get a smite or critical hit on an enemy, they start glowing, pull the soul out, and it's a huge benefit. But you do essentially, you can rank it up as much as what you possibly can, but eventually it will just go back down to 0. And then if I try to pull the soul from this enemy where the game doesn't want to target it, which unfortunately it doesn't. So yeah, that's to showcase with the enemy tracking at the moment in the game, and even trying to force it. If there's multiple, I guess, targets in front of you, your envoy's still gonna target, I guess, all of those, instead of targeting where you actually face your reticle, which only really shows when you've got a bow or a ranged weapon at the moment. So hopefully that does get looked into. There we go. If you stand back from enemies though, essentially you can cheese their little bit of armor tracking as well. So there we got another soul. And then fully charged shots, Ascension. You send them to heaven, which is great. Alright, there we go. We've got to level up. So once you hear that sound and you're out of combat, that little reticle thing will just pop up, be like, yo, you got something leveled, which is great. We're going to take on the Nimrod. He's pretty cool. What about progress? Will it remain? It does, yeah. Marta's a little bit creepy with her voice content, but it is kind of nice. So we're going to take on Nimrod. Hey, bud. He's just a giant hulk of a dude. He dishes out a lot of lightning, but also he likes to jump up in the air and be an absolute pain in the ass. So Mora's Hand, the pack that I'm using, can be beneficial in a way that sometimes when you apply flame damage to certain boss enemies, it can just completely screw up their AI, which is kind of funny because it does do it to Nimrod. So if you activate your 3, it basically freezes him, which is kind of funny. And you can kind of interrupt a lot of his attacks as well. If you can, just try to keep a few enemies around bosses, because then you can kind of farm their soul a little bit if they survive, just for more rune activations once you do get one, and you can apply it to your weapon. I'm a huge fan of rolling. I don't know if many of you can tell, but that is generally something that happens a lot in Elden Ring. I haven't played the new Night Rain or anything, but I certainly have played the expansion of Elden Ring. And yes, dodge rolling is my thing. I have no shame to that. this guy does dish out an absolute lethal amount of damage too. You can minimize that with your armor. There is a different pact I can bring, and it's very effective against pretty much everyone in the game at the moment. It's the Bromius Pact I was mentioning, with Rump Thump, which is really nice. I haven't tried it yet, but I want to see if I can... Oh, you can. You can aim him in the sky. That's pretty cool. Yeah. He can be a bit of a pain in the ass. Also being, like, very... relatively level higher. He's a bit of a pain in the ass to take on. But fun all the same. So, I'll pull my my actual abilities out and start trying to take him on properly. You can build a particular potion or item to basically remove his shield. You don't need to necessarily stagger him. It does help. It's predominantly most of the damage output that I can put onto him though. I can basically minimize that, but if he does start doing the electrical discharge, basically, he does regenerate himself, which is annoying. But it's not to a point that you can't continue hitting him though. Which is that one right there. It's just him trying to activate his lightning so he can basically recharge himself. Knocked headshots, very, very useful against him too. If you do have a bow and tethering, you can create a very high DPS output in a knocked shot. And once your arrow glows, you know that you've got a max shot with your bow, which is pretty handy against dudes like him at least. And we got a double smite, which is nice. Funny enough, he's going to do an aerial attack and probably just move from one particular area to another. So yeah, there are bugs in the game, without a doubt. But some of them just, they're quite funny, so I actually don't mind that. The Cloud 12 item, though, that you can use against him, you do get taught how to use it. It definitely helps, especially with the regen of him too. Yeah, you can play with your mates with the game too. So I generally don't play with a lot of players if I'm doing certain things that I'm farming for. But once I've actually farmed a particular like special item like a rune, that's when I'll start helping other players, and I'll just say, yo, I've got like a full rotation of bosses in the game. Do you want to join my instance once you've done your rotation? And we'll just join up, do theirs, and then we'll switch out and just farm up the rotation of bosses in the game. Nimrod is one of them, not this particular one, but there's another one or another version that has the melee rune, which is actually quite powerful. So I'm going to see if I can empower my melee weapon, and then I'll just take Nimrod out because he's starting to annoy me. Monsters become stronger in a group? Yes, they do. Yeah, they definitely level with the amount of envoys in squad. So if you've got 3 people in squad, yeah, your damage will be higher. So their level enemy, health, effective health, and damage output will be increased as well, yeah. So, especially in like higher level runs too, you can do an endless run where your level of your enemies just keeps scaling up and up and up. So you can get to quite high levels in that particular area, but it's predominantly used for just maxing your weapons and your your packs and just gaining experience, basically. Alright, there we go. I don't think he really likes a lot of melee, thankfully. So, this is the melee rune in action ever flame. So, you can just basically tell Nimrod to fuck right off. And there's a Tantrum Lightning. You will come across that eventually with enemies. And it will take you out at some point. But with higher ranking armor, etc., eventually you'll be able to mitigate the damage or just roll away from it. But yeah, that's essentially the martyr fight in a nutshell.
Bye-bye now.
She's a super creep, but I actually really hope that we become friends with her so she can take us to the sky castle that we do see in the sky. So I really hope that we do get a sky castle update at some point, hopefully. I don't really know if I got anything major from that particular boss event, but that's okay. So essentially that is like your tier 3 faction Sparrowtail in a nutshell. This is the highest level area at the moment for enemies. There's a few different areas that you can continuously farm. Like I mentioned, this one specifically, because it is one of the earlier iterations of this tile set, it generally will tend to spawn in the particular area that I'm talking about, which is the Endless Glade Run. Fort Carlisle, always a really good place to mention as well. You do get high level enemies, roughly like 25 sometimes up to, depending on the world tile set generation for the game. But for the most part, if you want higher level kind of stuff, a little bit more of a challenge, you can hang around this area and like farm out what you need. But for the most part, most of your content that you'll come across is generally around this area of the map, starting off within the starting area and then spreading out a bit more. Your 3 factions are relatively close to each other, which is beneficial. So there's the 3 factions. There may be more coming. I've got to check some of those things out. But yeah, that's essentially a rundown of Soulframe without hopefully giving away too many spoilers. Which one started? Why grind level packs to 5 and then have to level standing afterwards? Wait, pack levels? Are you referring to your standing? Packs are different. They have a bond level of 30. If you're talking factions, ranking up to 5 with your first one, and then going and buying 2 of these shimmering shards. I think that we went through that one, I think, last time. Shimmering shards. Yeah. That's the way that I did it anyway. You're unable to buy anything. Are you doing your faction tails? Because that's the way that you'll get your faction experience up. Indeed you do. Yeah. So if you've got to rank up your rank points by running these Alka's Children Tales. You'll see a different icon on your map. And they will give you rank experience. So like anywhere from, I don't know, 350 or something like that. But if you do your tier 3, that will give you the maximum deposit of faction rep as well. Yeah. Your faction standing will take a little while to max out. But the higher faction tail or Sparrowtail that you do, the more faction rep you're going to acquire. So if you're still within your first faction, my recommendation, like what we talked about last time, rank up to rank 5, get everything from that particular faction, and then rank up another 3,000 standing, and then buy one of these, but grab 2 of them from your first faction, because then what you can do in that is build your Rose's Bodkin talisman or necklace or amulet, whatever they're called, talisman, and make one for Medallion of Mora, so you can access these 2 other factions. If you're going from Alka's Children, it's up to you which one that you want to go to. If you want Mora's Hand, Pact, you can go there. Or if you want the Ode Tempest, which I would recommend, I would go to Rose's Bodkin or Silent Rose for that. 3k standing in what levels? Your tier 3 Sparrow Tails. So you'll get icons that appear on the map, and eventually they'll have 3 little stars above them. Go pick those ones. It generally takes a few minutes for it to spawn, but it depends on where you're located within the map though too. I could probably even do like maybe like the Nethans, but I won't be bothered. 3k standing is what in levels? You're not going to get 3 standing straight away. Like your breakdown of what you receive in faction standing is roughly like 150, like 250 up to 350 points. It's based on RNG. You're not going to get 3k standing anything higher than about like 350 experience return, I think, or points for faction. If you do come up to level, I think it's like 20, 25 plus enemies in say like your dungeon runs, it's better to still do your Sparrow Tails in a higher level area if you can manage it in the 3-star. So that will give you generally the maximum amount of standing return. Does that make sense? I'm not too sure on the drop tables for that one though. How does that equate to standing? 5k for each level. I'll check the Soulframe and what they say on that. I'm pretty sure like your returns are around like 350 points, depending on your enemy level and your tier 3 faction. I'm just going to have a look and see what breakdown they talk of. Just trying to see if there's an actual breakdown of specification for your actual experience that you get from your tier 3 factions and enemy level. It doesn't have a breakdown for it though. So I think there's like multiple different wikis for Soulframe at the moment. One of them is saying roughly lower level enemy areas who give you a 3-star is 350 standing. Medium level, I'm assuming, is anything from like 20 plus levels. It gives you roughly about 400 standing at the end. And then high gives you 500 plus, roughly. Don't quote me on that. That is from avocot.org in reference to the factions. I don't know when that information was either updated or given. But essentially, this area will give you the maximum amount of standing, which apparently is about 500 per run. So the benefit to running this area, though, too, is that you can run into one of these areas, like downstairs underneath, and then run out of the dungeon again, and then you can reset the world tile set, and then hopefully it will give you a tier 3 node that you can run and complete. And that will give you roughly the amount of max rep that you can farm out. So if that's the one way that you want to expedite your faction points to upgrade them, that is one way that you can do that too. And you'll get like level 35, 36 enemies up here as well, which is good. Generally, like this entire like top bit, so I think up to, yeah, Comba's Lev, above this line is basically your highest level enemies. So it is beneficial to run around here. And then if you want to run back or fast travel back into this area, you can go through the Glades of Andoran, and it generally spits you out, I think. Where is it? There's a specific point that it will drop you out of. And 9 times out of 10, it's generally the same area. I can't quite remember, but it will spit you out roughly around this area again. So that's essentially back in the middle area as well. So does that clarify a little bit more of like your enemy levels and your standing? I might actually run the Glades anyway, because I kind of want to figure out where that's going to drop me out of. But I am going to change away from Hand of Mora. It's not about I'm not understanding why standing is leveled like rep. Oh, I mean, to me, it kind of makes sense to have a tier 1 reward, tier 2, tier 3. So your tier 3 is going to give you the maximum amount of reward return. So I can understand it that way. But with standing being leveled like rep, from my understanding of what you're saying, I think it kind of makes sense to give you a higher reward if you're like a high level player, rather than giving you like a flat blanket amount of experience points. Like, say if it wasn't leveled at all and they said, look, we'll give you 500 rep for every like tier 3 bounty, no matter what character, what level of enemy that you're going against, it doesn't really make sense to me. I think if you've earned the right to be able to go and level your stuff, you think about it this way, it's like Warframe. You're gonna be able to run around in the game, but if you've got high level content, you've worked hard to get there. I would assume that that's a similar concept of how Soulframe works. It's not a punishment thing, I don't think. I mean, it's something, if that's feedback that you want to give to the guys at Soulframe, like, definitely do that. You can. I certainly do as well. But as far as, say, like, level, like, standing, it makes sense to have a tiered system, rather than saying, like, you got 500 rep points here, and then you're a level 0 envoy, and you go and do, like, a 1-star event, you get 500 points. To me, it doesn't really make sense not to. So that's my understanding of what you're describing. Because you want to spend time in the game. Like, it doesn't make sense to, like, punish a high level player. Oh shit. These are the guys that I need. Get away from me. There we go. Alright, where is little shit? These are the guys I was talking about before. The Willowwings. The Pollinators. You got to steal their shit from the largest one in the middle. Alright, there we go. And then you can kill them. Come on, die. I think that's it. Why not make it equal to grinding reputation at the same time? Rep. What? Grind rep first and then grind standing. Rep and standing are the same thing though. That's what I was trying to like understand what you were saying before. Rep and like standing, they're both the same thing in this game. And they're split tiered. You've got your level 1 faction, your level 2, and level 3. So the higher reward you get is from the high level missions that you do. That's how it works. In a nutshell. So your standing points are used to obtain all of your items within your faction. Which is, I think you mentioned, is Alka's Children. So doing those tier 3s in your faction tails will give you a higher amount of rep to be able to spend back in that faction to get that Shimmering Shard. But you've got to do it through the Sparrow Tails in the tiered system, which is 1, 2, 3. These icons through here. I'm going to run this last mission and then I'll probably end up wrapping up. To be a bit of a show off, this is the Bromius Pact. The full armor set and the spiritual growth. And then this is Rump Thumb. Very big amount of AoE. And this is the second ability, Web at Roots. It does cage an enemy within Roots. I think it does damage. I can't see the damage numbers popping up, so I'm not really sure why that's happening. But essentially, it will just hold them and drain them of their health, which is really, really fun. But my favorite part, this Pact, huge AoE, and it does a lot of physical damage against the defense of the enemies as well. This guy is called a Mockery. They are an absolute pain in the ass. And you can stomp them, hit them. They've got a lot of armor. They don't like magical damage, and they really don't like a lot of other damage types as well. The one thing I will say from previously is the Rook polearm that we have is actually quite effective against these guys, but they really don't like sharp damage, which is essentially 90% of your damage output within the game. We don't have a lot of blunt weapons apart from the Rook. I really do hope that with some of the new weapons that we do get in game, we do get a diversification of different damage output types in the game. Sharp is cool. It works really well against the Sinecure. But yeah, your weapons are still really effective overall, but some weapons and their damage type just operates better. And Odiak, those electric gauntlets that I was using before, I think will work very well with a courage attunement, and then being able to output that damage with voltaic damage type, I feel will work extremely well up until maybe that we may have some changes. Surprised that guy actually hit me. Alright. Excuse me more. Thank you very much. Alright. I'm just going to do a bit of a speedy run through this tile set, because I've got to get ready for the code giveaway this afternoon, and I also still need to feed myself. Excusez-moi. There we go. Oh yay, we've got advertising. Unfortunate. I really hope that I get a particular item that I have been looking to farm out of this little thing for quite a while. And I'm hoping that RNG likes me. Okay. Oh man, I wanted your soul. Anyway. Alright. How much do you die by? Alright. Nice. Wait, it did not kill her. Okay, so its damage output is not doing what it should be. Righto. Alright. Yo, okay. Alright, I think that may be the exit? No. Hey, bud. Nope, I was right. Ooh, chest. Hello. Alright, RNG, please love me. Like, literally. Maybe not. That's a shame. And chest. What have you got? Orangle's Fang. Okay. Unfortunately not. That's a shame. I'm kind of hoping that this dungeon drops me out. Where I'm thinking, it's either on like the west coast or in like the centralized area. Which will be phenomenal if it does. It does. Awesome. Alright, and that is located, that's right, just there. Above this world tree and just southwest of Sedate Stake. So any of those glades of Anduin will basically bring you back down here. From the northwest area, at least. I haven't tested any of the southern ones just yet, but I mean, that one's pretty easy to get to, but I'm assuming it will pull you out right next to Sedate Stake, so that's roughly around the mid area as well. I think with the rep grind and standing static, you are getting both at the same point, but like as I say, like your rep and your standing are exactly the same thing. So if you go do your tier 3 Alka's Children Tales, that's the fastest way for you to maintain and get your rep up to the maximized standing amount. You do have to rank up 5 times as well. And I think it's around like 1, 2, 3, 4,000 for each level that you get. And then once you're up to rank 5, you can literally just do specifically your tier 3 tails. And then that will give you maximized amount of rep as well. But keeping in consideration of like your level of enemies that you're taking on, or the area that you obtain the faction tail, it will benefit you. Like what I said before, is like the northwestern area will maximize your return on your points that you get, but it's kind of like a mixed bag. But you still benefit by doing them as well because of the reward tables and the way that they've set it up. in the way of, say, like your return against the enemies. The higher level enemy that you take on, the higher the return and reward. When I try to buy anything, it says I don't have enough standing. Yeah. So going and doing those faction tales will give you faction experience to level up. There was one more thing I wanted to do before I'm gonna peace out. I think I'm gonna go do that. I want to try that on again. Reflections, that's fine. We'll do that. Maybe see. Actually, I'm gonna do low, and then we'll do that. And that again. Okay. Cool. And then I don't think I've got the joiner that I want yet for changing one of these weapons that I wanted to switch out. Fable. So they're the original. They're the ones that I want to change. So I need the Fable blessed by Mortar. I could use this one, but the lifesteal is really... I don't think there's any point. Throw distance and the consecutive damage is absolutely essential. So I could use Grace, yes, but I'm hoping to get a Fable blessed by Mora. So we'll be doing that this afternoon anyway. So yeah, I think Static, if you haven't been doing your bird tails or your sparrow tails like what I showed you, I would be going to do them, and you will be getting rep as well. So just keep an eye on that, keep building that, and then eventually you'll be able to get enough points so you can buy their shimmering shards. That's how they operate. So 29. We'll drop that down. So 17. Actually, I'll keep that at 10. Courage. So I'll re-level this bow. Okay. Yeah. Do your tier 3s wherever they are on the map. You're going to get like a mixture of experience return or standing or rep. But just keep doing that until you actually see the UI say Alka's Children 5,000. The way that the rep system shows on your UI, look at the maximum number, because sometimes in the past it would show you like 30,000 standing. It doesn't mean like that's just like the full amount that you can get at like rank 5 as an example, but you only get 5,000 per level at the moment. It doesn't tier it up, as in tier 1 is 5,000 maximum, and then you can go to the next level. Then you've got to max out 5,000 more, go to the next level. You end up spending about 25,000 a rep from those faction tails, grinding your rep or your faction points, whatever you want to call them. They all break down into 5,000 points worth of every single run that you do. So it is going to be the most grindy part of the game for you to do, is getting one faction up to rank 5 and then going back and doing your faction tails to go and get 3,000 standing for both of those items that I mentioned before. The good thing about doing that is you will save yourself time in the long run by doing that. You don't have to do that if you don't want to, but if you need to build 2 other totems, like we discussed previously, to be able to shift from your faction once you've max leveled it, you are saving yourself time and like 48 hours by crafting both this one and this one once you have 2 of those shimmering shard items that I mentioned. Because if you wait and you build your totem, you're going to be wasting 24 hours just building that specifically just to go from one faction to another. And then if you rank up your second faction and do the same thing, you're going to waste another 24 hours to go get the shimmering shard for this one from that second faction that you've ranked up, and then so on. Does that make sense? So ranking up your one faction and buying those extra items to build these 2, which you will eventually get just by exploring your dungeons, doing your faction tales will generate different areas either above world on the island or down in the dungeons to be able to get your experience that you need. So focusing those tier 3 will give you your rep and your grind rep, whatever you want to call it, to rank 5. So Alka's Children, get that up to rank 5. And then once you've got another cap of 5,000 standing, go and spend that 3,000 on that Shimmering Shard. Go build this with 2 Volcanae. Do the same thing with this one from that one faction, and then you can switch to those within another week or 7 days. So you can't freely, unfortunately, you can't freely switch between factions anymore. It's now specific to 7 day cycles, or 5 day cycles, sorry. So once you move to a faction, you're stuck with them for a full 5 day rotation. If you go to the Silent Rose and then you're happy enough with everything that you've done there, and then you go to Kit the Kings and be like, oh, I want to join them, it's going to give you a time block and say, oh, you've got another 5 days and 24 hours until you can actually come to this faction if you have the medallion for it. So that's the breakdown a little bit more on how those factions work. I'm just trying to iterate that it saves you time in the way that I've done it in the past. If you choose not to, that's completely up to you. But you are going to be minimizing the amount of crafting time with 2 Volcanae. And if you come from Warframe, you'd be used to putting something in the foundry like a Warframe part. If you craft that for 24 hours and then, you know, craft the second one, it's better to farm in batches, come to 2 Volcanae and get her working on shit for you while you're gone. And then it'll all be ready by the time you can come and claim it. So treat 2 Volcanae like your foundry in Warframe. She is the thing that's working in the background for you while you're doing all of the work, going, getting all of your faction rep and all the other materials. You bring it all back to her, build all your stuff in here, and then let her work. And that's how you build up your bond with her as well. You've got tier 1 weapons, such as like Vasp 4, Solace 2, I think, the Rivet 2, Solace 1, sorry, the Longsword, Rivet 2, etc. So you're more powerful your weapon, the higher achievement it is, the higher rank it is. So by building and crafting all of your level 1 weapons, gaining experience, using that weapon, leveling it up, putting all your nodes in your combat arts, eventually you're going to be able to access higher level content because it's a tiered system. It wouldn't be fair for an early level envoy to go and get like a Stolten or like the Earthroot stuff. You know, it makes sense that the game locks you behind certain content until you've reached that area of that content. It's the same thing with all of your bounties as well. I'm glad it makes sense, yeah, because I know it's confusing. So I think I'm very literal, I would say. If you expand on the information and just give me a little bit more of an understanding of what your question's in reference to, I'm trying to decipher what you're like saying through a screen too. So I really hope that, you know, the information that I do give helps you guys as well. I think about it in a different way. You're going to think differently as well. But for the most part, I really hope that the information that I do give helps. And I do understand the frustration on certain levels, you know, like you've got a 1-star item that's like a low level item. So think about it this way, level 1 to 10. This is tier 2. So that's tier like level 10 to level 20 enemies. And then you've got like a 3-star weapon that is like Gathenin. That one is like your level 20, like 25 plus level enemies to 30. If you break it down into those 3 tier systems, 1 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30, that's the simplest way to kind of understand, okay, I'm in like a level area of like level 24 enemies. So I know that I'm above 20. I have the capacity to go and farm this area for, say, like a tier 3 faction tail to get a tier 3 fragment for the Tessard weapon, or sorry, like Gathenin as an example. There's a lot of other factors that come into it though. So I try to look at the more complex kind of areas of the information that I've learned within the game and then break it down. That's the way that I'd like to operate anyway. I can be a little bit long-winded on stuff, so if I say too much information, let me know. But yeah, I really hope that has helped understand more of like how the rep and the faction grind works, basically, to level up your faction and get those shimmering shards, because it does save you a lot of time. All right, I am going to bugger off. It is now 1 p.m. I've almost done a 3-hour stream, so I do have to get ready for the Envoy or Soulframe giveaway for the code later this afternoon. So if you guys want to hang around, you're more than welcome to. But I am probably going to bugger off. So awesome. I'm glad that helped you, Static, as well. So for all of you guys who are still hanging around, it's been an absolute pleasure. Like, I hope it has made sense. If I haven't made any sense, that's okay too. More than happy to get more information for you guys as well. So I'm going to wrap up. I'm going to get some eat, and I definitely need some water as well. So I'll be back on in about 4 hours time. Thanks, Sorb. It was nice to meet you as well. Yeah. And yeah, it's been hopefully very informative for you guys. So I will jam out for now, and I'll be back in around 4 hours time. So if you're around, you're very welcome to join again. So thank you very much for spending time with me, and I will say ciao for now.